leaders of Arab and Muslim American community groups rejected an invitation to meet with President Joe Biden. And now it's expected that the White House will not be hosting its annual Iftar dinner. The reason is that the Muslim American community is opposed to the Biden administration's funding of the current action in Israel, the Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. And there's a collective understanding among Muslim American community leaders that they should decline the offer to have a dinner if an invitation were to come. This is a major shift in how politics, national level politics, has engaged Islam in the last couple of decades. Since the 90s, there have been iftar in the White House. And iftar, by the way, if people don't know, is the breaking of a fast. And so during the month of Ramadan, once it is permissible to break one's fast, there's an iftar dinner every day. And the White House was starting to sponsor those. And if they didn't sponsor an iftar, they sponsored or welcomed Muslim community members to Eid al-Fitr, or the kind of festival of the breaking of the fast that happens at the end of Ramadan. Well, the Muslim community said, we're good. The Muslim community was like, look, President Biden, we would rather not. And the White House has been very careful to avoid any kind of Ramadan-based event programming, not because they don't care about Muslims, but because they don't want to get embarrassed by Muslims. The White House wants to avoid a public relations disaster. In 2000, even under George Bush in 2000 and from 2008, there was pushback, but the Bush administration attempted to welcome the Muslim community in because it would look like progress. The Obama administration was good about the Iftar and the Eid, and it looked like progress. Even under Trump, they made the invitation, but now the concern is further embarrassment. The Biden presidency, the Biden administration was embarrassed about what happened in Michigan during the primary season when over 100,000 people voted uncommitted to Joe Biden. That was embarrassing. And right now, as the Biden administration continues to fail on the issue of Israel-Palestine, it continues to shame itself in the international community's eyes by continuing to fund, by continuing to stand next to Israel at a moment where it is violating international law, at a moment where Palestinians are being killed at an unprecedented record pace this time around. At a moment where all that's happening, the United States refuses to stand with any significant distance from Israel. Now, today, there's been talk of a call for a ceasefire, which we'll talk about later. There's been talk about a resolution in the UN Security Council, but it's still temporary. It's still too little in the minds of many people. It's still too late. And so when you got Muslims who say, look, we are not going to spend a minute in the White House giving cover to President Biden as he prosecutes this war, when you have brown people and Muslims and even and African-American Muslims as well in solidarity saying, no, we're not going to stand separated on this issue. When all of that is happening, it makes Biden very vulnerable, because the last thing that the Biden administration wants to see is a protest. The last thing they want is people standing up and speaking out. The last thing they want is people not showing up. And so it's going to be tough. And it ain't just Ramadan. It's also affecting Nowruz, which is the Persian New Year, which is celebrated by diaspora groups of a variety of ethnicities and a variety of religious affiliations, from of course, Iran, but also from Iraq, from Afghanistan, from India, from Pakistan, from Turkey, from Tajikistan, from Azerbaijan, from Uzbekistan to Kazakhstan. You got all these people who are saying, look, we're standing with Palestine.